Good evening, everyone. I really want to thank you so much for being here today. On behalf of CelebrateOne, this event is extremely important. We're here to recognize the babies that have been lost in the last 10 years of our work. So I really want to thank you for coming and spending the evening with us for this really important cause. And with that, I will introduce Mayor Ginther. Thank you so much.
Very much. Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for being here. I want to thank all the families that are with us here tonight. Our CelebrateOne Director, Danielle Tong, and Board Chair, Christina Brown, all the community partners, health systems and faith leaders, elected officials and civic leaders, particularly Councilmember Bankston, who serves on the CelebrateOne board. So grateful to have him here. I want to thank you all for being here tonight, and to the families who are here, thank you for your courage and allowing us to share in this space of remembrance with you. To CelebrateOne and to the partners and leaders who stand with families every day, thank you for your commitment to this work. As I look across the lawn, I see 1,539 pinwheels. Each one represents a child we lost in Franklin County between 2014 and 2024. And now, for the first time, their names are displayed year by year. Behind every pinwheel, behind every name, is a family that carries love and grief every single day. Families who dreamed of first words, first steps, first birthdays, milestones that should have been theirs to celebrate. It is a loss we all carry, as neighbors, as a city, as a community. When even one baby is lost, our whole community suffers. More than a decade ago, I sat with families who had faced this unimaginable loss. Their pain made it clear Columbus needed to do more. Too many babies were not living to see their first birthday, and too many families were carrying a grief that never should have been theirs. No parent should ever have to bury their child. As a father, this issue is deeply personal to me. It's why we created CelebrateOne, because every child's life should be filled with possibility, not cut short. Since becoming mayor, I have made sure this work remains at the heart of what we do as a city, integrating CelebrateOne into city government, supporting its bold goals to reduce infant mortality, and addressing the racial health disparities that drive so much of this crisis. And just as we carry the loss together, we carry together the responsibility to do what we can to prevent infant mortality. This work remains one of my and our city's biggest priorities. Together, we can change the story for families in Columbus. Tonight is about remembering the babies we've lost too soon, but it's also about a promise we will honor these children not only with our love, but with action. Action so no more families have to endure this loss. And now it is my honor to welcome Danielle Tong, the Executive Director of CelebrateOne, to share more about why we gather tonight and how we will carry this work forward together. Director Tong?
Thank you to Mayor Ginther for his leadership and for your vision for what needed to happen. Thank you to the families who were able to join us tonight, and for those families who really just couldn't do it. We appreciate you, and thank you for your courage. Thank you to our partners who've been with us for 10 years and running, working at this day in and day out. Thank you to our elected officials. If you are an elected official, please raise your hand. I would like to highlight Councilmember Bankston is a board member of CelebrateOne, as well as council member. Thank you for being here. And thank you to Celebrate One staff, and to all of the staff members across all of our partners, all of our volunteers who are able to help us bring this mission to bear. Behind me right now, 1,539 pinwheels fly. Can you imagine if those babies were here, right in front of us? 1,539 people. The oldest among them would be 10. They'd probably be rolling their eyes about all the speeches that have to happen. There'd be toddlers running around in circles. There'd be babies laughing and probably some crying. I'd like to think that they're here anyway, that we can't see them, but they're here right now doing all of those things and supporting us and cheering us on as we do this work. Behind those names, though, these names are even more families, even more community members, because we know that when a family grows, we're also growing a village and a community. And when a baby is lost, that village mourns. They mourn all the things that could have been, all of the possibilities and all of the hope. So yes, today is equal parts remembrance and reminder of why we do this work, so that this field does not have to grow. For 10 years, Celebrate One has been walking alongside families in their moments of extraordinary joy and in their moments of devastation and heartbreak. And through that experience, we have learned that meeting a family at the time of pregnancy, sometimes it's too late. We know that we need to get ahead of this. So much of what happens in a baby's pregnancy and what causes a baby to die happens outside of the bounds of pregnancy. It can be dependent upon where the baby's family lives and what zip code they're in. It can be dependent on their race, on their access to food, their family's access to jobs, to health services, to nutrition, to stable housing. And so our work, in addition to standing alongside families, is to build systems and institutions that serve us and serve them. We don't want to come back to a larger field. Tonight we're here to honor and we're here to recognize the promise, because these are not just numbers. They are little neighbors. They are our families. They are our babies. Tonight, I am honored to introduce Tiffany Gross. Tiffany is Celebrate One's Infant Vitality Manager. But long before she held that title, she walked through unimaginable loss. She carries that grief and that love with her still, but she's done something extraordinary. She's been able to turn her pain into passion, using her story to guide her work and to walk alongside other families. Every day, when carrying her own loss, she helps others through theirs. She's here with us tonight, not just as a Celebrate One leader, but also as a mother, a community member, and a woman whose story reminds us what is at stake here. Her voice is powerful. Her voice is sacred. It is my honor to welcome Tiffany and to invite her to invite you all to open your hearts as she shares hers with us.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tiffany, and I am here tonight as a mother shaped by each of my babies, those I hold in my heart, and my incredible son, Kai, who I get to hold in my arms every day. I want to begin by speaking the names of my babies who are no longer here, Wanye and Kalia. They were born, they were here, they mattered, they are loved, and they will never be forgotten. That is what I carry with me every single day. The truth that even though their time was short, my babies' lives had purpose. Every single baby we have lost matters. Every child was destined to be great, and no matter how long they were here, their life left a mark that cannot be erased. They changed this community forever. I have been pregnant 4 times, but I only have one living child today, my almost 3-year-old son, Kai. My first pregnancy ended in a miscarriage at 4 months. My second pregnancy was my son, Wanye. I was told that I had lost him in my first semester and that he would pass himself away. A month later, I delivered a dead fetus. I named him, I buried him, he too mattered. Not long after, I became pregnant again with my daughter, Kalia. Complications started early, and I spent months inverted, laying upside down, fighting every single day to stay pregnant and keep her safe. Kalia was born early, fragile, but strong. She spent 3 months in the NICU, and we were blessed to bring her home. 3 months later, she suddenly passed away. She was only here for 6 months, but she changed my life, my family, and me forever. After losing Kalia, I lost myself. I was attending church, but not living deeply in my faith. When Kalia passed, my mother connected me with my first lady of our church, not knowing how else to help me. The kindness that the first lady showed me changed me at my core. It showed me that even in my darkest days, I was not forgotten and that I still mattered. The compassion led me to lean into my faith like never before, and it was my faith that carried me into healing, into community, and into the calling that brings me here tonight. And tonight, I proudly stand here as Kai's mom. Kai is an incredible little boy. He is joy, he is laughter, love, and light. He is the reminder that everything I have fought through and everything worth holding on to, I am grateful every day for him, for the chance to watch him grow, to celebrate his milestones, and to love him with everything I have. Losing a baby is soul-shattering. It is a soul-shattering loss. There are no words big enough to capture what it does to you as a parent and as a family. And in those moments of loss, what family needs most is compassion, thoughtfulness, loyalty, and humility. A kindness that makes a family feel seen and reminds them that even in the darkness, they are not alone. That is what tonight is about. It is about honoring the babies who should be with us. It is about remembering their names, their families, their legacies, and it is about reminding ourselves as a community that how we show up for families in their darkest moments truly matters. When I look at this field behind me, I don't just see pinwheels. I see my babies among them names. I see the love I carry, and I know every family here carries the same love. For me, it is not just a field. It is a reminder that our children were here, that they mattered, and that they always will. When I see all of these names together, it saddens me. I am reminded that my story is written along so many others and that none of us should have to carry this alone. To those families here tonight, I want you to know that your babies were here, they mattered, they are loved, and they will never be forgotten. Now I invite all of us to hold a moment of silence and a moment to remember and honor the babies whose life ended too soon. A moment to stand shoulder to shoulder with families, and a moment to promise that their names and their legacies will never be forgotten. Can we take a moment of silence? I thank you, and thank you for giving me the space to share my baby's legacies with you today. And I want to end with the reminder that our babies' lives will always matter. Their names, their love, their purpose will never be forgotten. Thank you. And now it is my pleasure to bring up Amanda Zavala.
Thank you so much, Tiffany, for sharing your story, for sharing your babies. Because speaking their names and telling your story is such a courageous act. And in doing so, you allow all of us in this community to share their story and their memory with you. Your journey reminds us that behind every single one of these pinwheels is a child that's been gone too soon. A family that's carrying both unimaginable love and enduring loss. And I want to thank all of you for taking that moment of silence with us, because remembrance is powerful. But I think we also know that remembrance is not enough. It also has to move us to action. That's why tonight we're inviting all of you to join us at our commitment wall. Each pledge you make is a tangible action that can help every baby in this community celebrate their first birthday. This wall is a living promise. It's a visible sign that leaders, partners, and community members are all willing to stand up and fight infant mortality, to move from memory to responsibility, to say, I won't just remember these babies that we've lost, but I will fight to protect the lives of the babies we still can. To our partners and leaders here tonight, this wall is especially for you. Our families cannot do this alone. Change requires systems, resources, and top-down support. It requires your voice and your advocacy. This isn't just about messages of support. It's about commitments that families can actually see and feel. A commitment to bold and urgent action. Because unless we act now, our neighborhoods will continue to grieve children who should be here with us. The children that are supposed to take their first steps. The children that are supposed to start their first day of school. The children that should be playing in our parks. So when you come to this wall, I ask you to make two pledges. The first is a personal one. Something that you can do as a person, as a family, as a neighbor, to fight infant mortality with us. And maybe that's just checking in on your pregnant neighbor. Maybe that's making sure that that mom who delivered 2 days ago isn't alone. Or maybe that's just learning more about infant safe sleep so that other people, babies, they don't have to die this way. The second one is a professional promise. Something that you and your organization can do to help us in this fight. Maybe that's providing resources or developing programs that walk alongside families. But note that no matter how big or small your pledge is, it's powerful. Because small actions, multiplied by the nearly 1 million residents that we have in our city, creates lasting change. And as you add your pledge, I also ask you to visit the Hearts on a Line, which is right back there. Their families will leave notes for their babies, reminders of the love that exists long after the loss. And taken together, these two displays, one of love and one of action, can show us how we move forward with both remembrance and responsibility. This is how we honor the babies whose names we spoke tonight. This is how we honor the babies whose names are on that list. With promises that turn into action and with shared responsibility, we can ensure that no more families have to experience this loss. We can ensure that there are no more pinwheels added to this lawn. We can make sure that no more families have to cry about the loss of their potential. And now, it's my honor to welcome our board chair, our board member, Nick Bankston, to offer his reflections and guide us into the closing moment of shared remembrance and promise. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Just want to, again, thank our mayor for your leadership. It was over 10 years ago that something called out to you that sticks with us, that understanding that our infant mortality is tied to our community's vitality. And so I just want to thank you for your leadership and your partnership throughout the years. I have the pleasure of serving on Columbus City Council, but also have the pleasure of serving as the vice chair for the CelebrateOne board. Really some of the most proudest work, I think, that I get to do here in the city. And I just want to say today to the families here with us, thank you. Thank you for your courage, your presence, and your love. The way you carry your baby's legacies is what brings us here, and it is what keeps us moving forward. And to our partners and leaders, thank you. Thank you for showing up, for standing with families, and for choosing to make this work your own responsibility. And to the CelebrateOne team, thank you for carrying this mission every day with passion, with persistence, and with heart. You know, the CelebrateOne team is a small, but I call them a very, very mighty team. And it's not just the team at CelebrateOne, but it's the interconnectedness throughout every department in the city of Columbus that's working every day to address this issue. Tonight, we stood in remembrance. We spoke the names, we told stories. We were reminded that behind every pinwheel, there is a child. And behind every child, a family. These babies matter. They were here, they are loved, and they will never be forgotten. But tonight was not only about remembrance, it was also about a promise that we will act, that we will do better, that we will not allow these losses to continue without change. The commitment wall and the heart on the line are now are how we carry tonight forward. One holds the love of families written out in words of remembrance. The other carries our promises, our commitments, our next steps. Together, love and action are how we change this story. So before you leave tonight, I invite you again to take part. Write your pledge, write your love note, add your voice to this movement, because every heart on that line, every promise on that wall is a step towards a different future. A future where every baby in Columbus is given the chance to grow and to thrive. Where first birthdays are just the beginning of long, healthy lives. This is how the story changes. One promise, one family, one baby at a time. And together, we make that promise today. So thank you to the families who carry love and grief, to the partners who show up with commitment, and to every single person here who refuses to look away. Together, we will honor these babies with both remembrance and action. And together, we will rewrite the story for our families in our community. The old adage is that it takes a village. And that truly is what this work is. So thank you all for being a part of that village. Again, thank you for those families of turning that pain into purpose. And know that we are going to work every single day to make sure that every baby reaches their first birthday and beyond. Thank you all again for being here and celebrating with us. And am I turning it over to anyone else? Madam? Okay. All right. Thank you all again. And again, thank you to our mayor.